So hello everyone and welcome to our YouTube tutorial. In this video we are going to tell you something about Excel. First I will tell you where you can get it and how much it costs. Then you will get to know more about the inner life of Excel, especially how to use diagrams. The program is from Microsoft, so the most likeliest way to get it is through their online shop. This looks this way. Yeah, the Excel is part of the Office bundle from Microsoft. So in order to get it, you need to buy the whole bundle. I'm afraid there's no other way. You can also test the Office version for a month. You can download the trial version here and click here to buy it. So there are different versions to buy, or at least different version how to buy it. There is one possibility where you pay at one time, but I think this version won't gain any updates in the near future. So they clearly want you to buy it as a subscription, and here you can choose between pay a yearly or a monthly fee. Yeah, and this after you've done it, you will get a Konto from them. After you bought it, you need to go to the Office page. There you go on Register, and then you have to add the Konto data you got from your purchase, like this. Yeah, and then you are on the Office page. Here you can start the app Excel in your browser, or you can go onto this button and then you will download the whole package to your computer. Yeah, you have to click here and of course say yes. Yeah, well, and then you have to follow the instruction that occurs to your desktop, so that is quite easy.
Hey there and welcome to our second section of the Microsoft Excel tutorial. In the previous section, you were led through the installation and configuration process of Microsoft Excel. And as you can see, I've already started the application, and in front of you right now is the Microsoft Excel starting screen, which is comprised of various numerous templates predefined by Microsoft in order to ease up your workflow with Microsoft Excel. Now, since we want to focus on charts, what we need now really is a blank workbook because it provides us with all the crucial functions that we need. So let's click the blank workbook and see what happens. Marvelous. Now, in front of you is a blank workbook which has no data whatsoever and is free up, only limited by your imagination. Now, let's have a look at the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is the dominating area of the workbook, and it's basically used for data entry purposes and is the working area that you'll use. Now, you can open up yet another spreadsheet by clicking the Add button on the bottom here. A spreadsheet is made of columns which are indexed by a capital letter, as you can see, and rows which are indexed by a numeral. Therefore, you can address any cell in the spreadsheet by the column it stands in and its corresponding row. So this would be B1. As we've established, we want to focus on charts. Now, what are charts used for? Charts are used for large quantities of data because the human mind does very poorly in processing them. And whenever you wish to highlight certain aspects of tables which provide you information, you would probably use a chart as some mean of simplification. Now, how do we create data tables then? You can click into any column you want, say column C, and column C is to hold names. So any names whatsoever will be dropped in column C, and say column D is to hold salaries. Alright. Now we have the basic relationship between names and salaries, and now let's go for a data set. Say Sally has a salary of 2,000, and then we would have John, and John would have a salary of 2,500, because the world is just unfair like that, and male people are still treated better than women. Now, in the background I shall set up some more sensible and larger data tables in order to do some chart work. Now, be right back. Alright, I've come up with two tables, one being the annual selling of fruits. You could imagine this to be a table, well, probably used by some kind of clerk. And then we have the state election results of Rhineland-Palatinate of 2016. And Rhineland-Palatinate, in case you don't know, is one of the federal states in Germany. Okay, the task at hand is to make sense out of this here shiny little table. How do we do that? We go to the ribbons section of Microsoft Excel here on top. Then we click the Insert button, and here is a section called Charts. It holds various different types of charts, and I'd say for this here table we go with a bar chart, and a two-dimensional one will do the trick, I guess. So we click the two-dimensional bar chart. Alright, now a horrible mistake happened. I highlighted this section which holds the table, and therefore what Microsoft Excel tried to do was a futile attempt in making sense out of the data. And as we can see, it horribly failed in doing so. So we shall delete it. Off you go. And we make sure not to highlight anything, and back we go for a bar chart and a two-dimensional one, and now we have a blank working area which will display our graph, and it is empty because it has not a source of data, and we are going to select a data range. And here opens a window, and we shall say add a series, and the series we are starting off with is the Apple series, and we need to select values for the Apple series, and the Apple series naturally starts here and ends here. I guess you're all fine with this. Okay, let's see what happened. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, which you might think corresponds to the quarter, but that is misleading, really. Well, coincidentally it happens to be, but it is not linked to the quarters. If we had, say, a fifth data set of apples, we would have a 5 on the horizontal line here. So what we want to do now is we want to edit the horizontal axis labels and give a data label range for them. And now we link it to the quarters. That worked out phenomenal, and we shall continue with the pairs and the designated data range. Great. And the banana. Alright, I made a mistake. Obviously I was asked for the series name when I highlighted the area. We can click edit and we can undo this mistake. Alright, now the series name. Splendid. Ah, yeah. A stupid mistake. Great. Alright. Okay, what's left now is cosmetics. We want to make our graph more appealing to the eye, if you will. First of all, we shall start with a chart title, and the chart title is this. And I'm not much a fan. I don't tend to like grid lines. Grid lines shall be eradicated. They are leftovers of the times when you had to draw your graphs manually, so you would need to have a closer look. That's not necessary, at least not when you're working on a computer, but that's really just my opinion. And again, if you were working in a scientific area, I'd say you probably still use them, but for this here example, it's really just uncalled for. And same applies to the values of the x-axis, as long as we'll use data labels. And you can see, you can click here and you'd have all the data labels on top and vary their position by choosing whatever you desire, but I'm just fine as it is now. And I said I wanted to get rid of the x-axis. Great. Now, this makes one great chart, except we do not yet know what color is displaying what kind of fruit. Therefore, we go to legend, and you can toy around with the position of the legend, and by default it appears to be on the right side, which is fine by me, I guess. Yes. Now, you may say, well, that was tremendously easy as compared to drawing graphs by hand manually, which is a horrible, horrible thing every pupil has to do for some bizarre reason. Now, I didn't tend to like that because computers do a job much, much better than humans. And if you're on the same page as I am concerning this topic, the next feature takes the cake, which is the recommended charts. And basically what it does do is you highlight any section concerning or containing rather your data area. So you will highlight this entire table and you click recommended charts, and Excel is attempting to make an educated guess at what chart suits and fits your data range. And this is one splendid feature, I tell you this. Now, there are numerous suggestions made by Excel, and we are dealing with election results, and the conservative way is to go with a pie chart. Now have a look at this. This is great. We don't have to select our data source. Apparently Excel took care of that for us. But you can see it's far from perfect and certainly not flawless, because if we left click our chart, we can see that this here area the cursor is at, there are missing, well they are not missing, but if we unhighlight the chart, we see that due to the contrast and coloring, values which are not actually missing are not depicted properly. Therefore we shall re-render this here chart, and we do so by clicking design, and there are certain predefined color sets, and I hope that this color set, yes, that's marvelous. Now this does do the trick, and what is left to do now is we want to alter the position of the legend, because it takes huge amounts of space and we want to banish it to the side, I say. Right? Yeah, and automatically there's an adjustment in the size of the chart. Unfortunately, though, the legend is not entirely displayed, I'd say. No, it isn't. the Republicans, the third way. There we go. Great, now we will adjust the title. And that's all there is to it. You could probably color the background of the single areas to match the associated colors of the party, because for some bizarre reason people came up to associate parties with colors, and the Social Democratic Party is certainly a left party, at least as it used to be. I guess they consider themselves still to hold up to those values. Well, it's a matter of your belief almost. Now the Christian Democratic Union, it's black since it's really strong on the dark side of the force, I suppose. Alright, now I'm certainly not going to recolor all the parties. And as for now, I say off you go and tinker and toy some on your own with the chart function of Microsoft Excel. And in the next upcoming section, we are going to deal with the Microsoft Word import function for Microsoft Excel data. So stay tuned until then. See you.
Hello there and welcome to our third part of the Microsoft Excel diagram tutorial. In the last section, a colleague of mine showed you how to get these diagrams, how to edit them, get them the way you want them to look, the visual part of it pretty much. And now I'm going to show you the practical part, in my opinion, how to use them later once they are done. For that I will use this as an example. I'll pretend that I had a presentation about the elections here in Germany, and now I've to prepare a handout, and I would use this pretty chart where you can see everything on first glance, and I would copy it. Then I would go into my handout and paste it. And I would use this function here, the copying with a link to the data. What that means is that this Word sheet has a connection to our Excel sheet, so the document here will get updated every time we change anything in our Excel sheet. In my opinion, that's the best way to go, because I usually just get some random values in here, then make the diagram pretty, make it the way it should look, and then when I think it's time, or when I got all the data, I probably don't even have all the data at the beginning when I start with the visual part. So I just have some data here, pretty much random, and later I change the data to whatever is right, and the diagram will be refreshed, and this one as well, because it has the data linked to our Excel sheet. If we would delete or change the location of our Excel sheet here, the diagram here would still keep existing. It would just stop refreshing because the data link now shows into an empty direction. So Word thinks, hey, I still got this data, so it should be right. It's practical, but it's even better if you just keep the worksheet here where it was, so it will be updated every time you change. As long as both are open, they will update immediately. If it is closed, the Word document will get refreshed the moment it gets opened. So if you changed it during the week, whatever, and then open this when you think all the data is ready, it will be refreshed, and you have a pretty handout that you can print, and all the data is right. Hopefully, if you did your research right. I hope this was helpful for you. I also hope you can use it in the future for presentations, handouts, all that cool stuff, and have a nice day.